you see here is the base I laid down for what will be a wet bar for a customer of mine. Here you see the disaster that then came about. This is the pile of shavings that it took to fix it. This is an absolute disaster. The layer of FCGI 24-hour resin just totally baked off. Absolute disaster. I have no idea why this is the case because it was poured within specifications of the product. But as you can see, this one went sideways. This entire river, this entire counter at this point is absolutely destroyed. Although Nala came in to make me feel better. That was nice of her. So what was my solution? Well, I went at it with a 2-inch Forstner bit and started to drill out the resin. You can see the amount of shavings that began to pile up. I decided to go about this route versus just routing it out because I felt like I had a lot more control with the drill and also made a lot less mess. I then went and cleaned up all the sharp edges to make sure I had a smoother edge to route from. This is some pile of shavings. Here you will see what was left. You can see the cracks and you can see how rough everything is at this point. So I went and filled in all the cracks. I needed to get back to a stable base and I needed to make sure that I had a good foundation on which to build from. I then sanded everything down to get it a little bit roughed up so that the next layer had something to bite onto. Next, I removed everything from the mold that it was in so I had access to the edges and could clean things up. The edges were rough coming out of the mold, so I cleaned them up so I could get everything sanded back down. I needed to have a smooth surface so I could route from. Next, I cleaned up the entire tabletop to get it back down to a smooth surface. Trust me, this took a while. Next, I cleaned up the river edges very carefully by routing out along the way. This cleaned up all those little rough spots that were left from drilling. Here you can see the output after routing out all of the river edges. I then just came by and quickly smoothed them out and got rid of any nicks from the router bit. Once it was all cleaned up, I came back and poured down a new layer of blue resin. I used the same product here. Obviously this is not as deep a pour, but I figured it was safe since I was only going about a little over 1/8 of an inch. I then cleaned up all the bubbles with my favorite torch. I'll do a separate video on this because it is absolutely amazing. There you have it. You can see the new river is poured and looks phenomenal. I then sanded everything back down to make sure I had a consistently smooth countertop. I'm pretty much going to leave it here because I'm waiting on the dimensions for where the sink should go and I have to cut that out, so there's no reason to do any more finished surfacing on this. Since I won't have a finished project for a little while here, I did want to show you how this came out. So I'm dropping a little alcohol on the table so I can clean it up and you can see just how phenomenal this is going to finish up. This went from total disaster to what is going to be an absolutely gorgeous countertop for my customer. Can't wait to get this finished and installed. It's going to look absolutely gorgeous in their home. I also made a matching coffee table that goes perfectly with the countertop. It is almost an identical match. Keep an eye out for that. You can see that posted either on social media or I'll have it on my website. Anyway, when I get this done, I'll have another video on the installation. And until then, good vibes.
Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. And to stay up to date with our episodes, hit the subscribe button as well.